So the day is finally here. So I first decided to go to Ogilvy because I thought it was the odd one out, and I wanted to try and keep myself from going all over the place. Spoiler alert, it did not work. So I went up to Midtown, which was supposedly where the Ogilvy headquarters were, and I was waiting for the F train. But lucky me, all the trains were down except 1, 2, and 3. And I would normally take this as a sign that I need to turn back and just give up. But I actually only knew about the trains breaking down because some stranger told me, because I didn't understand the announcement. So to whoever told me, thank you, thank you. You are very, very appreciated. So I went on the station and I went to Gongsha, which was the closest boba shop to Ogilvy that was open at the time I wanted to get there. I did not quite plan this out. I didn't realize boba places only open at like mostly 11. Thankfully, it was only 3 minutes away from the station, and just look at how cute it is. I basically considered it like a sign from the universe that I had to go into the store because it had the same colors as the Ogilvy logo. So I went in and ordered the dragon fruit oolong tea lemonade with some popping boba. Popping boba will be surprisingly common theme somehow. I'm not sure why. I guess it seemed to me at the time like something that everyone would like. But anyways, here I am assembling this, putting my stickers on it, and then dropping it in the bag with a straw. I also realized at this moment that the stapler was completely unnecessary since there was nowhere on the bag to really staple it to. So I just put a second bag outside and put the envelope in the second bag. And here's just me just showing that whole thing off. Okay, so the next part was the very hard part, was actually finding the building without letting the whole ice in the boba melt. I think I did okay. It was a 14-minute walk in the 84-degree weather, and of course, since I had to do this in the afternoon, it was only getting hotter. But anyways, I get to the building and go to the security guard, and it turns out they have moved to the Third World Trade. So I finally got into Wieden Kennedy building. The receptionist was so sweet, and I went up to the elevator and dropped off my little package. Surprisingly, very little was asked about me except who it was for. I even got a bottle of water, which was so nice. And honestly, this is a pretty common theme for the next two agencies, No Good and Oberlin, where people really were not asking me a lot of questions, which again, so nice, except for the fact that my heart was pounding. But you know, the gangster life isn't for everyone, and certainly not for me after today. But I was definitely flying high after those first 3 victories until I got to Ogilvy, which was in the WPP building, also known as the Third World Trade Center building. Yeah, so it's not a street like I originally had assumed. We're not letting me in there no matter how much I pleaded, and I did indeed plead, which, let me reiterate, it is completely fair. I also wouldn't let my suspicious, shaking, quivering figure into the building, but it did mean I had 1 extra boba tea that seemed to be wasted. So since I had packed the envelopes, I had looked for an ad agency near me, and I found it. A woman-owned agency called Yard NYC. I then looked up their HR person on LinkedIn to address the new envelope to. The last building had even fewer questions about the boba, and that no one even questioned me being there. And bonus, it was in one of the prettiest buildings in NYC, I swear. After all that, I was finally done. And while I can definitely say that there were not many times I wanted to quit, I felt a real sense of accomplishment. I'm not even sure if my efforts were actually worth that much, but from the person who told me how to write my umbrella to all the strangers who pointed me in the right direction, it was really nice to know that I wasn't alone in this, and that as long as I continue forward, I can make it through. I know that's a little sappy for what is essentially just a video about job hunting, but it was still kind of amazing to see how many people who were willing to just help out a random stranger, even if she was being like super sketchy. So thank you everyone at NYC, and see you for a possible phase 3.